The Shape of Doom by M.A. Bennett, Chapter 5, 15th January 1894 at 12:30 p.m. Alone? Luna was in shock. Aunt Grace had spoken as if the matter was already settled. Not alone, said Dr. Cass. Constantine will go with you. And Aiden, said Aunt Grace, as your engineer. The tall train boy nodded and grinned, as if this was the most normal proposal in the world. He was clearly the one of the three who knew anything about this plan. Dr. Cass put his hand on his son's shoulder. You asked for an adventure for your birthday, Constantine. This is it. Kronos will go with you, he went on. You may ask him if you have further questions. I have loaded as much knowledge into him as I can. Every member of the Butterfly Club has spoken to him at length, and he has recorded the vocabulary and digested the specialisms of every one of us. You may ask him anything. And he has another even more important function, said Aunt Grace. Through Kronos, you may speak with Professor Lawrence. He will appear to you and give you aid, just as he did today. How? Asked Constantine. You may easily remember Kronos' properties, said Dr. Cass. Turn his key anti-clockwise, backwards in time, as it were to ask Kronos anything we have already recorded into his mechanism in our time in 1894. Turn the key clockwise, forward in time, to send a message to the professor in 1969, and that you need to speak to him. But remember, said the doctor, Kronos will only speak for about 2 minutes at a time, either to you or to the professor. Then he runs down, and you cannot wind him up again straight away. He needs a few hours to reset his polarity. Look, he lives here. Dr. Cass took the clockwork bird over to the brass contraption. He opened 2 small doors in the face of the round clock on the dashboard of the time train and fitted a little bird inside. Then Luna understood. Kronos was a bird who lived in a clock. Of course, he was a cuckoo. What else? Do we go now? Tonight? Constantine asked. He sounded excited, and there was a flush along his pale cheekbones. Yes, said his father. Is it dangerous? Not we think for you, said Aunt Grace. Children may go about unmarked and unchallenged. That is why we want you to go. We think you may be able to borrow the wireless radio. This made a certain dark sense to Luna. Victorian children were largely ignored, and it seemed that children in the future were too. Think of it, said Aunt Grace, clapping her hands over the 3 young people before her. What an adventure! You will be the first time-traveling children in the world. Luna looked to her left and right to the boys who were to be her traveling companions. She plucked her aunt's sleeve and drew her to one side, speaking in an undertone. Aunt, in the time I have lived with you, you have barely let me out of the house. You cannot think it suitable that I should travel like this anywhere, let alone through time, and chaperoned in the company of 2 boys? Oh, but there will be another girl with you, said Aunt. Nadia will be there all the time. Who is Nadia? Aunt Grace nodded towards Aiden, now seated in the driver's saddle and checking the settings. Ask him, he knows. But Luna had made up her mind. Whether or not some mysterious girl was going to meet them in 1912, she was not about to take part in this experiment. She knew that it was common practice in mining to send a cannery down a coal mine, and if a cannery died, that meant there were poisonous gases present, that the miners shouldn't risk it. Her father had always encouraged her to speak her mind. She did so now. I won't go, she said. I won't be a canary in the coal mine. Oh, I think you will, said Aunt Grace harshly. Her voice was flint, her green eyes jade. You see, your father was the one who didn't come back. He was a canary. Luna let out a little gasp and took a pace backward. Papa? That's where he had gone? Aunt Grace must have seen her niece's expression, for she softened her voice and spoke more kindly than she ever had. I'm giving you the chance to follow him, Luna, to find him. I told you he was on another plane, and I spoke the truth. He is out there somewhere. You may be able to bring back more than the wireless radio. Oh! If Luna had been just a little younger, she would have stamped her foot. It was too bad. Aunt Grace had her pinned down as surely as a butterfly on a card. The grandfather clock seemed to tick louder and louder, intruding on Luna's indecision. Come on, Fräulein, it'll be fun, called Constantine confidently. He was already in the time train, having boarded while Luna and her aunt were having their low-voiced conference. The train works, I promise, said Aidan, holding out his hand. Luna looked at the grubby fingers with disdain. Her fear and anger made her ungracious. I can't get up myself, thank you. The Irish boy merely hooted with amusement, making her even crosser. Oh ho, too hoity-toity for help. Are we Dutches? Luna studiously ignored him. She put one button boot on the running board of the time train, torn by indecision. She could stay in the present, where it was safe, and face her aunt. Or she could travel to the future, face its dangers, and seek her father. Tick-tock, said Aunt Grace warningly. Luna took hold of the brass rail and lifted her other boot off the ground. She was on board the time train. Good for you, Duchess, said Aidan. Sitting before the controls, set the ivory dials. The little white tiles were etched with ink-black numbers and letters, just like the word games Luna and her father used to play in the evenings. Aidan turned the tumblers until they read Southampton 1912. He hesitated over the third one. Time of year? Spring tides, surely, said Constantine. That's when the most of the sailings go, I think. 10th of April will do, said Aidan. My ma's birthday. Day or night? Day, said Constantine eagerly. We will be better able to move around undetected in a crowd. From your mouth to God's ear, said Aidan, and set the fourth dial for noon. His brown hand released the ivory lever and eased it forward. The dials began to spin. Luna's stomach lurched as the wheels turned and the train began to move across the vast room, using the meridian as a track, faster and faster towards the grandfather clock, concealing the door. As they gathered speed and the blue lightning danced about the train, every single butterfly on the walls detached from its card and began to fly about the room in a whirling rainbow twister. The time train shot across the vast room until there was nowhere else to go. They were going to crash into the clock. There was a blinding flash and an ear-splitting bang.